This is Kathy Yaffa with School Spotlight, and today I'm here at the Ayers Ryal Side Elementary School, in the Ryal Side section of Beverly, and we are going to be taking a little tour of the Ayers School. So first I'm going to ring the buzzer, get myself buzzed in and get a visitor's pass, and then I will meet you in the lobby where we will talk to the principal, Mrs. Susan Turocek. See you soon. Well, now I'm here in the lobby. I have my visitor's pass, and I'm here with the principal, Mrs. Susan Turocek, and she's going to tell us a little bit about the school and what we're going to see today. Susan?
Hi, well, we're glad to have you here, and welcome to Ayers.
Thank you.
We have planned for you today an opportunity for you to join us for our school-wide morning meeting, which we hold every Monday morning in the gym with all of the students and faculty. We are going to join a third grade classroom for a math talk, in which you'll see a teacher lead a class discussion around math, and then students have an opportunity to work first independently and then in small group doing some math problem solving. And we are going to end our day in the library with a group of 4th and 5th graders led by the reading coach and one of the 4th grade teachers in a book talk on our Mass Children Book Award books.
Well, that sounds great, and I think you mentioned something to me about those 3rd graders doing pretty well in math.
Yes, we did very well. So the 3rd graders have done very well. The whole school has been working really hard, particularly in the area of math, so we're very pleased.
And this school looks a little bit older than some of the others that I've been in, but yet modernized. Is this the oldest currently in use elementary school in the system? Or?
Yes, I believe that we were the first building that was renovated. They renovated all of the elementary schools in succession, and we were the first to be renovated in 1999.
Well, it's looking good, and so now we are headed to the full school morning meeting. So we'll see you shortly.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This morning, for our greeting, we are going to do the hip bump greeting. Please watch while we carefully demonstrate this greeting. Good morning, Sarah. Good morning, Leah. Good morning, Sarah. Good morning, Grace. This greeting is active, so you must do it safely. Please sit once you have greeted.
For our share today, we would like to show you our kindness wreath. The ribbons on our wreath signify an act of kindness by a member of our class. Our acts of kindness are not rewarded, but instead we receive a ribbon and our class wreath gets more beautiful. Our classroom belief is that kindness makes you beautiful.
Today we will share some more acts of kindness at Ayers School. If you hear your name, come up and get a ribbon bracelet to wear for the day.
For Miss Trout's kindergarten class, Grace Scarborough for helping a friend with their MP3 player during comics.
For
from Miss Sullivan's class, Alana Tidora, for always being the first to step forward and clean up and organize materials after literacy centers. Without being asked, you can really count on Alana.
Thank you for taking part in our morning meeting. Please direct attention to Ms. Jorocek as she reads the morning message.
All right, nice job. So I'm going to ask Miss Orlando's class to join me in reading the morning message loud and clear, okay? Good morning, Ayers School. I am so happy to know there are so many acts of kindness taking place in our school community. Congratulations to those of you who were recognized today. Many thanks to Miss Orlando and her 4th grade class for another great morning meeting. We have a very short week ahead. We will have an early release day on Wednesday. And we'll be off on Thursday and Friday for Thanksgiving. We have so much to be thankful for at Ayers. I am thankful for the wonderful teachers and staff here at our school. I am thankful for the chance to be your principal. Most of all, I am thankful for all of you. I hope you have a happy Thanksgiving. Love, Mrs. Jorocek. Thank you very much. With your eyes, you're going to find your teacher and look for direction to go to class. Thank you very much.
Now I'm here with Caitlin Orlando, whose class was responsible for the morning meeting. And she's going to tell us a little bit about, first of all, what is the purpose of the all-school morning meeting that you have on Mondays?
Well, morning meeting is actually part of a whole approach to teaching that Ayers has adopted at our school. It's called the responsive classroom. And the responsive classroom is an approach that builds community within classrooms and within a school. So in our classrooms individually, we do Monday morning every day of the week, or we do morning meeting every day of the week. And on Mondays, we come together as a school to do a whole school morning meeting, which is what my class was in charge of this past week.
And what are some of the elements that are a part of every morning meeting?
So every day in our classrooms, we start with the pledge. The kids usually come to the rug and we do the Pledge of Allegiance. From there, they do a greeting. A greeting is very important because it's something within our classrooms, we teach our kids how to interact socially in a positive way, and being able to greet each other with handshakes and high fives and have positive eye contact and body language. That's what the greeting is sort of for, so they can sort of talk to each other in the morning and get acquainted each day.
Now, in the morning meeting held that your class was responsible for, what were some of the elements? You had the pledge, and you have a morning greeting.
Yep.
What was the greeting? Could you explain it a little bit?
Our greeting for this morning meeting. Our greeting for this morning meeting was a hip bump greeting, which was a little bit more interactive than a handshake or a high five. The kids actually greeted each other, and then they bumped hips, which was pretty fun. They came up with that one on their own. They were really excited to do it, so we went with it, and I think it worked pretty well.
Yeah, very good. And so then you had your morning greeting, and then you had acts of kindness, which I guess wouldn't have that necessarily called that at every meeting, but you have some sort of recognition, or want to explain the acts of kindness?
Yep, our acts of kindness was our share for morning meeting. So share is the next element in morning meeting. Shares come in all forms. There are lightning shares, which are quick shares that everybody does in our classroom. Sometimes we do tell shares, where 1 or 2 children tell something that's going on in their lives, or maybe a show share where they bring something in to show. And that's a time for us to just, kids have a chance to speak and talk about things that are happening in their lives. At our morning meeting, we shared our kindness wreath, A big part of my classroom this year has been kids understanding that kindness is something that just makes you a better person. And so I have a wreath that every time they do something kind, they receive a wreath and they put it on our kindness wreath. So we wanted to share that with the whole school. And then we went even further to recognize other children in our school that have been kind or shown acts of kindness, and we think that's pretty important.
And you gave them each a little something.
Yep, we gave them each a ribbon to wear on their wrist all day to sort of show off and say, I'm kind. So
That's great.
yeah.
Acts of kindness sound like a very important thing for everybody, not just children. And then you had an activity, and it seems to involve math skills. You want to explain it a little bit?
Yep, our activity for this morning meeting was called 11s. I actually learned 11s at a responsive classroom course that I took very recently. And it is math focused. So how it works is there's a caller who calls 1, 2, 3, shoot. Each class is standing in a circle and they shoot either a 0, a 1, or a 2. And then there's a counter and you count up the fingers. And the goal is to have 11 fingers up at the end. And if you do, you get to shout up, we got 11s, and then sit down. So this activity was math involved. Sometimes our activities have a reading focus or a vocabulary focus, and sometimes they're just interactive to get the kids moving around. So this one was math focused, and yeah.
And it was fun watching them because I could see there's a little strategy to it, and gradually some of them were figuring out, that they were thinking a little bit more about it.
Yep.
And at first it just seemed like a game.
Yep,
So
and I
it
think
worked well.
The older grade levels picked up the strategy a little bit quicker, and then as they played it a little bit more, the younger grade levels were picking up the strategy, so that was kind of cool to see.
And then you had a message. That's a usual part of the meeting? It was the principal's message, I guess.
Yes. The message at our whole school is one that Mrs. Charachek, our principal, puts up. And we actually did it as a choral reading in our classroom sometimes. We have one child read it or a few children read it, and everybody else follows along. And that message usually just sort of kickstarts our day and lets the kids know what we're going to be doing. And it gives them something to read as they come into the classroom. So right when they come in the beginning of the day, they have something to look at to get them ready for the day. So yes, this one was Mrs. Charachek's, and at our whole school morning meetings, sometimes we choral read as a whole school, and sometimes just the classroom choral reads.
Well, it was nice to see that focus and just, see some inspiring things going on. I enjoyed the morning meeting, and the kids seemed to too. So thank you so much for explaining everything to us.
Thank you very much.
And we enjoyed being here. Okay, I am here today with Linda Geary, and we are going to be viewing a math talk. What grade level are we at here?
This is 3rd grade at Ayers Ryal Side.
Okay, and explain to me a little bit about what we mean by math talk as opposed to just math class.
Math talk is a chance for the children, once a week, we do this every Friday, where they have a chance to really dig deeper into math and explain their thinking. And I have introduced 3 strategies, decomposing, jumps of 10, and splitting. And those are strategies that your children can use to figure out a problem. So it's kind of like problem solving, but it's really digging deeper and persevering with a problem and coming up with many different ways, hopefully 3 different ways to solve a problem. If each sandwich costs $4.12, will I have enough money? We are going to try to keep persevering and trying to see if we can come up with 3 different ways to find the answer. You can do it on a table. You can do it in this area, this area, this area. There are keywords. And I've given you some strategies across the top. But you only need to do 3. You could draw a picture, skip count, repeated addition, multiply, divide, make a table. Let's give Andy a round of applause. A different way. Will. There it is. And that equals, keep going, that equals 48 cents. So he did $16.48. Did anyone do it that way? Why don't you add that way into one of your other shapes, and you can do Will's way. Will, nice job. Did anyone do a table? Kaylee, can you do your table? You didn't do a table, you can fill it in this way.
Okay, so you are combining the math skills that you have been teaching, and then once a week you combine those skills and have them do some actual problem solving. And now, is this a combination of doing the math in your head as well as solving a problem?
It is. It's a chance for the children to do a problem in their head, mental math, but then to explain their thinking to others and to the teacher as to how they came about with getting that answer. So it's mental math, but it's talking about their thinking.
And I noticed that the problems that you usually talk about involve practical things, like going to the store and buying things that people would really need those kinds of skills.
Right, and we talked about mental math being, you know, a chance where you might not always have a paper and a pencil if you're shopping or you're at a place where they need to do some type of math. So it's thinking about their math, but again, like I said, it's really showing their thinking.
And then the rest of the week, you work on the basic skills that they'll need to do that.
Right, we've unpacked the standards and we know what standards we need to teach in 3rd grade. So we've done place value, we've done rounding, we've done addition and subtraction, and now we're doing multiplication and division. So we do work on those Monday through Thursday, and again, on like I said, on Friday is our mental math and our problem solving and math talks.
Sounds like a good program. Now, let me ask you, Mrs. Drochik, is this a program that's been introduced in all of the schools or here at Ryal Side?
Well, it's not so much a program as it is, you know, in response to the new Common Core standards. So we all know that we have the content skills that we have to teach in each grade level, but the Common Core is asking us to kind of take that a little deeper. They've introduced the mathematical practices. Mathematical practices identify some application of mathematical skills, like explain your thinking, make use of structure, persevere through a problem that, you know, might seem too challenging at first. So we've done a lot of work in taking a look at that and adding that in. We use a lot of assessment to drive what we do, and adding in that the opportunity to dig deeply into problems and think about math.
And the children work alone, but they also work together. They go over their problems. And how does that, do you think that helps them with that?
Right, there's some children in the classroom that can tackle a problem head on and go fast and start right away, and there's other children that tend to take more time and think about which way they're going to go to tackle a problem. And then when we do our heads together and butts up, it's a chance for all the children to get out of their seats and socialize and talk about how they came up with the answer and different ways that they came up with the answer. Turn to your neighbor, eyes to eyes, knees to knees, and tell which strategy you used to get that answer.
Classroom management strategies are really important.
Now, I was
in
very
making that work.
impressed with the cohesiveness
Yeah,
of your group.
It's a family. It's, you know, it's a second home for these children, and we've created that climate in here, and I think that's a huge piece of our school is the climate of the school, and how well the kids take care of each other and work together. And even if they make a mistake, it's okay to make mistakes. And I've really discussed that with the children, that it's okay to make mistakes and to persevere and just keep on trying, and eventually they realize that they do get it.
Well, that's good, because they learn from their mistakes.
Exactly.
And did I see somewhere that you at Ryal Side have some parental group evening activity that involves math somewhere along the line?
We just had, actually, last week, Family Math and Science Night, and the focus this year was on Build It, which is an engineering program. So there was an opportunity for 5th graders to run workstations in the gym, and 4th and 3rd graders attended, and the 5th graders led them through a series of activities that helped them learn more about engineering concepts and things like that. So it was really a very well attended and very exciting opportunity, run by 2 of our parents in our building. They did a fabulous job.
Well, math sounds like it's a lot more exciting subject than it was when I was in school.
So true.
It is.
Thank you so much for inviting us today. I really enjoyed the presentation, and thank your class. They did a wonderful job.
I'll tell them. Thank you.
Thank you.
Morning, guys.
Good morning.
Welcome to our I Survived Hurricane Katrina book discussion. Mrs. Hart and I have a couple of questions that we want to ask you, and maybe you have some questions that you'd like us to answer, which would be great too. We'd like to start by asking, how did everyone like this book?
I would rate it a 10 star.
Why would you?
Because it had a lot of action, it had a lot of description, like people. Yeah.
You're right, it was a really exciting book to read, wasn't it?
Scripted. Yeah.
It was really great. How about anybody else? And remember, 1 being not my favorite book, and 10 being it was a great book. I'd highly recommend it.
I'd rate it a 7 because I liked the book, and I liked how it was like action and everything, and it was like an adventure book, and I liked that, but I liked it.
I'd rate it a 9.5 because it's one of my favorite books and I like it. I'd rate it a 10 because it has like a lot of detail on how the water was and characters.
I personally would give the book a 10. I read it in about, I would say, 2 hours.
Me too. I read it really quick.
Because I didn't want to put it down. It was a page turner for me.
Once I started reading the book, then I'm like, I want to finish this, and I never took my hands off of the book.
That's a good book, right, Jared?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good book.
I wanted to keep reading.
Awesome.
Me too.
I also like a lot
longer.
of cliffhangers in the book.
There are.
Yeah.
There were a lot of cliffhangers, especially at the end of those chapters, so you would finish your chapter and think, oh, well, I have to keep going because I have to find out what happens next.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Suspense.
Yes, suspense. Great word. Who are some of your favorite characters, and why did you enjoy them? Why did you like them?
My favorite character was the dog because the dog's owner turns out he says he's a man-eating army dog that's like iron, and it turns out the dog is a sweet, nice dog, and it sets you off track.
I love the dog too. I loved him. Cruz, right?
Yeah.
Cruz.
He's just so scared.
Yeah.
You feel so bad for him.
When he's on the house floating,
Right.
He's like, help me, help. And he's really big.
Did we all survive Hurricane Sandy?
Yeah.
Yes. So we all do have a connection to a hurricane, and it was pretty scary when Hurricane Sandy happened. And we have blizzards in New England that we've all survived, even though they can be pretty tough. So we have a little bit of background knowledge about natural disasters, even where we live in this part of the country.
A couple of you have been to our book talks before. So I'm just curious, especially for those of you who this is your second book talk, what did you like about the first book talk, or what made you want to sign up for this book talk? Go ahead, Sue. Emma.
Because it was the first book talk was it was actually really fun because you got to talk about the book and remember what it was about.
And hopefully it was a book you really liked, right? That you would sign up for. Jerry, go ahead.
And our class really liked the book because the way that our teacher read it, it was really enthusiastic. So that's why we liked the book.
Hi, I'm here now with Megan Hart, who is the reading
coach. Yes.
I like that, reading coach. Okay.
Sounds good.
And Susan Smith, who is a fourth grade teacher.
Yes.
And they have combined for a book group that was discussing I Survived Hurricane Katrina, which sounds exciting. So, if you could tell us a little bit, Megan, about the book group and its formation and all that good stuff.
So the book group really came about through a grant that we got last year through the Beverly Education Foundation, and it's called the Massachusetts Children's Book Awards, and Salem State runs the program every year, and they put out a list of the top 20 most interesting, new, engaging books for 4th through 6th graders, and it's really to increase the motivation to read in that age group. And so part of rolling out this program to our students was giving them the opportunity to read the books and then giving them an opportunity to talk about the books, because the books are so exciting and the kids have really kind of connected with them on such a nice level that they like to kind of get together informally and just talk about the pieces of it that they liked. So that's part of the way we've worked that in. And also we have something, we call it Spotlight on Staff. And so we have one staff member a month that we focus on who's read one of the books, who we highlight up on our board. And Mrs. Smith was our Spotlight on Staff member this month, and they get to choose the book actually that we talk about in group. And so Mrs. Smith chose I Survived Hurricane Katrina, and it's probably been our most popular book to date. I think we have had the most students in the school read this book than any of the others. So we knew that we would have a lot of interest in meeting.
Well, that sounds like a great program, especially the idea that the kids get to discuss the book with each other. Why did you pick that particular book?
I was devastated when Hurricane Katrina happened. I remember it like it was yesterday. And my husband also went down to New Orleans last summer on a service learning project with his school and rebuilt some of the 9th Ward. So I had a personal connection to the story. I figured if I read the book, I would be able to talk about it with the kids from a personal level, somebody who was known, somebody who's been there. And in the book chat, I had said that one of our teachers who works here had gone to rebuild after Hurricane Katrina. So we do have connections there, and I thought the kids would like to hear a little bit about that too.
Well, they seemed very interested in the book and in the whole survival theme going along with it. Were they all 4th graders that were part of this group? Or?
They were 4th and 5th.
4th and 5th. And so what, they volunteer, they sign up?
They do volunteer, yes. And they volunteer, and it's during their lunch and recess. So they do volunteer to miss the lunch and recess to come to the group. And we've opened up roughly 10 to 12 spots, but so far this is our 2nd book group, and we've had way more than 10 to 12 students that have wanted to join us each time. So we keep offering new ones so that we can fill the needs of everybody.
How many books have you done so far?
So this is only our 2nd month of the book chat, but it will go until the end of February. So we'll have at least another 4 months of book groups ahead of us. And there, like I said, there are 20 books total. So we're not able to meet about all of the books, but we do try to choose the ones that children have shown the greatest interest in.
So you do 1 book a month?
One book a month.
That's the goal? Okay. And is it just 4th and 5th graders, or?
Just 4th and 5th graders, because the program's geared to 4th through 6th graders.
Okay.
Although we have a lot of staff members who have taken a really big interest in this as well. So paraprofessionals, other classroom teachers, all the way down to kindergarten. We have a lot of people. Our music teacher is our next Spotlight on Staff member. So we have a lot of people who've really kind of jumped in, and I think the kids like to see who will be up on the board next for a staff member. It's always a nice surprise.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
And next you'll have to have one of the students be the leader.
I know.
Some of them look like they could be.
They could have been.
They certainly could.
Yes.
Well, that was kind of fun.
Yeah.
So now have you picked the next book?
Well, we kind of gauge between interest and what the teacher would like to talk about. So the next book I think that we'll be doing is called 90 Miles to Havana.
Oh.
Which is also, it's actually kind of autobiographical about a family immigrating from Cuba to the United States. So.
All right, that sounds good.
Yes,
that sounds exciting.
Should be interesting.
Well, thank you so much for inviting us. That was fun.
Yes, thank you for coming.
Yes, my pleasure. And happy reading.
Thanks.
Well, I'd just like to say thank you to Mrs. Strocic and to the Ayers Ryal Side Elementary School, because we had a great time here. It was wonderful visiting. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you for coming. We hope you had an opportunity to get a quick peek into some of the things that we do here every day. We work really hard, and we also have a lot of fun. So we're glad to have you here and glad that we had the opportunity to share what we do with all of you.
Thank you.